Hey guys, good day. In our last video, we were able to create the homepage for our simple inventory management system. And then also, we were able to put a link between the homepage and our login page. So now in this video we are going to create our dashboard page. So once the user will log into the system, this page will be displayed. Here are the parts of our dashboard page. So here we have a section for the this is the sidebar, and then here will be the abbreviation of our app. Here is the user with the photo, and then here below is the menus. And then this will be the styling once the user hover or the page is active. And then here is the top bar. It has the sidebar. So once we click on this one, the sidebar will be open or close. Then here is the logout button, and finally is the content of the page. So now I'm going to create a new file. Let's just open this one and copy. Create a new file, and we call this one dashboard.html. Then here let's just remove the content. Then here let's just update the title, and here it will be the dashboard. So once we go to our dashboard, so since it's empty, so we are seeing empty page, and as you can see here, it is now named dashboard. Okay, so let's start. So for this one, we need to create two sections. So let's create our main container, and then here two sections for this one. So let's create our container, then two sections. So here this will be the sidebar. Then here this will be the content, and then let's just style, or maybe no, we'll just first do the structure for the content. So here we have two sections, to sidebar user, then here dashboard for the user, Okay, so this the user. This will be not the user but the menus. And then here on the top, let's add the header. Let's call this one the dashboard logo. Maybe let's just use a logo. Then the IMS. Then here this section will have the image, and then alternate will be the user image, the alternative text that will be displayed if the image failed to load. Then here would be the name. So let's not do E, let's do a span. Then here will be Gomez. Then below is the menus. So for this one, can use a list class dashboard list menu list. Then here we'll do the dashboard or the actual menu. So first one, so this is a link. We need to do an A tag, and then for the icons we enclose this one in the FA I think. Dashboard is the correct icon name. Then here we'll do dashboard. So for now let's just copy and then paste. So I think that's it for the dashboard sidebar. Now the content, we have the top bar, and then here below is the actual and the content. This is for the top navigation. So let's divide them into two sections. So here will be top nav, and then they will have two sections. So so we need to make this one an A tag. I think this one is icons menu, nav icon, and then here we'll have so no text, just the icon, and then here is the logout. Can just use I think it's power off, and then the text would be logout. So now this is the dashboard content, the top navigation, and let's do the actual content. So dashboard. So I think we'll just do container. Here let's just do top nav, and then here we'll have the content. So as you can see, this is the dashboard content, but as you can see there's another section. So we need to put that one inside a class. Then dashboard content. How do you name this one? Let's just do main. So I think the structure or the HTML is now complete. Now let's do styling. So for now, let's just use the login.css. Actually, we should rename this one, but in the later part. So let's just refresh our page. Okay. So now let's style our page. So here, I think we have this section here for from our home page. This one. So we need to do a display flex, and then flex direction of row. So for the let's name this one dashboard main container. Instead of class, let's use an ID. So dashboard main container, display of flex and flex direction of row. Let's refresh. So now we have two sections. However, this one, the sidebar, we can change the width to 30%, and then this one, the dashboard will have the dashboard content will have the 70%. I think 30 is bigger. You can do 20%. I think this is now good. So let's just put the background. So for our IMS, we'll have the background of this one. And then let's set the height to 100%. I use a VH. So as you can see here, our sidebar takes up the whole height of our device. Now let's style the icon or the logo. So H3, then the color, change the font size. Okay, let's do 180, and then let's align to the center. So now the image, so since we still don't have an image, so for the image, I just downloaded this one. And then in our images folder, I created a new folder called user. So this is where we store all our user images. So now here we can get the or link the image. So since we are here, we just need to go to the images, user, and then the file name, and let's try. Okay, let's just remove the so I think here you don't need for the image, you can do the square image, since this one is a PNG. So let's just let's just use another photo. So I think this one, and then let's just paste and then crop. Make sure this one is a perfect square. Let's just image and then crop, and let's just save this one as user1, save. Then let's just close and then link. So this is the user one. Let's just use or change the file name to a JPEG, and then let's refresh, and as you can see, we are able to link the image or display in our browser. Now next is the image should be small. Still width of 20%, well, not percent, but px. Let's do 60, and then display this one as inline block, so that the comments will be sitting in the same row, since that's what in our design. And then let's have a border radius of 50% to have that circle image, and then maybe let's just add a border of 1 px solid and a color, that one. Let's do a 2px so it's visible. It should be from this color, and then here the Gomez, so the margin left 5px between the image and the text. It's alright. And then let's style the name. First is font size set to 14, I guess. And then text transform uppercase, color to white. So 14 is not a good, it's small, so let's do 20. Okay, I think this is good. Now we need to center. I think we can use the vertical align to center the text. Yeah, I think there's a way to do that one, but for now let's just use a margin pub negative 30px. Let's do 25. Oops. Span. Let's try to open and do So for now, let's just do the centering. Centering of the image. I mean the whole section. So this one should be here. So I'm trying to center this one, but anyways, let's just remove the positioning. So let's just fix that one later. So this now we need to add the padding or the margin. Then a border. So this should be a padding. Then the border will only apply to the bottom section, and use 1px. Now let's style the menu. So here need to add a padding. Actually on the list, so 20 on the 10 on the top, 20 on the left and right. and change the font size to 20 18px, and then to uppercase, then for the A tag we'll need to remove the underline, and then change the color to white. So the padding we'll just need to do 0 on the left and right, but for the bottom and the top let's do 15, and then let's just add padding for our main UL. By px and margin on the top. Just add the padding to 10. Here we need to add a styling. So once we hover that one, background will change to this color, and then color change to white. So actually we don't need the padding for the main UL. Just need to add more padding on the left and right. So now the A tag, I think we can change the height so that once we hover on the whole li, it will also have that cursor changing. Display black. Let's check the font size. Let's just move this one to here. Then the Gomez, let's just make this one smaller, and then so the dashboard or the image, let's use 80, and then think we need the auto. So now I think so we just need to add inactive class of active. So here let's just add a class active, and then we need to have the same background or styling. Then so not the A tag but on the list. So I think our sidebar is looking good. So now let's start styling the top navigation. So here we'll have a background of white. So let's just set the background of our content column to this color, and then it should be 80%. So the top navigation will have background of white. Sorry about that one. And the padding 50 px to 20. Then here, I'm sorry about that one. We can change the color, the text or the icons. Font size set to 20 px. And then the color, then let's remove the text decoration or the underline, and then this one we can add the logout btn, and then we can move that one or float to right so it will be moved. Should be a hashtag. So as you can see, it is now on the right mouse side. Let's just change the font size. Yeah, I think it's looking good. Now let's add the content, so the last section, which will have the background white. This will clash there. And then let's have the height of 500. So now here are our dashboard content. We need to add the padding. So as you can see, there's a small padding between the content and the main container. So let's have the padding of 50 20 px, and then let's do 10 px. Let's do a 50 px. Then the height, let's 80%. So for the height, we can do minimum height. So height will be 100%, and the max height is 900 px. I think it's the minimum. There's a line white. So now let's just change the minimum height to 800. So as you can see, now let's change our icons. It will look bigger. Think this is enough. And now let's add a JavaScript code to our file. So for this one, the dashboard, so once we click on this one, our content will be moved on the right. So in order to do that one, we need to open a script tab, and this is where you write all your HTML, the JavaScript file. So let's just assign an ID to that one. And then here we can just use this one, and add event listener, and then you can have the arrow function. So let's just add a new, so the name of the event, which is click, and then once it is clicked, we will run this function. So let's just try to check if we write the correct event. So for now, let's just alert high. As you can see, it is correct. So now what I'm going to do is, I think for now we'll just change the width of this one, and also for this section. Before we continue, let's just use or center this one, the text. So I did a research, and only thing that you will do is set the vertical align property to middle, and once we refresh, the name will be centered. So now back to our JavaScript code for the toggling, or what to call this one, collapsing of the sidebar. So what we are going to do is change the width of this column, and then also the sizing, and make sure that we only see the icons and the name or the user details. So now let's just add a function. So first is the sidebar. Let's just change the style. So dashboard dot style the width equals, so right now it's 20%. I think we can change this one to 10%. So for this one, so we need to prevent the default mechanism of this a tag. So if you can see, once we click an a tag, it should redirect us to a link or a new page. So that's why when we click on this one, it's reloading. So we can use event and then prevent default. So now once we click, it won't reload the page, but also we can just use this one, set the href property or attributes this one, so let's just check our console.log. So we're expecting this one to resize, but as you can see, we have an error. So so dashboard. So since this is a class, we need to make sure we have an ID. Because this one, it expects an ID. So when we refresh, as you can see, the width changes. So once we click, the sidebar collapse or move to the left. Then here, since we changed the size, we also need to change the size of our content. So let's use 90%. Up, not 90, but sorry, we should not the main container, but the dashboard container. So let's just add a new property or ID of that section, then paste it here. I'll just move this one on below. Then once we click, so as you can see, we remove that spacing. So now we can change the font size, maybe a smaller, maybe this one, 60px, and then so the dashboard logo can use an ID. Style that font size will be 60px, then we change the image size. To 61 or maybe 60px, adjust the same, and we need to add ID, image, user image, and then let's do refresh, and as you can see, it is now updated. Let's check. Up, so it's not a font size but the width. So refresh, and as you can see, it is updated. So we change the font size, the width of the image. Now here for our the link or the menus, we can just remove the text or height and then make them center. So since we cannot directly remove or target the A tag without removing the icons, so for this one, so once we remove or set the display to none of this A tag, it will also remove the icons. So for this one, we need maybe add a span, wrap our text, menu text. I think we can do that one. So here we'll just select by class. So since we have a multiple class here, we can do a looping. So select and then loop the elements. So let's just add the class for our icons, menu icons, and then here let's try to select. So we have this document that elements by class name, and then let's just log the icons, see if we get the correct property. Let's just change console.log. So as you can see, menu active, so not menu active but menu icons. As you can see, we have two elements which refers to the following menu. So now let's do a looping for I, and then that length. So now menu icons, so we have now the element, and then same thing, we can just do style that display, and then set to none, and then let's just refresh. So the icons is gone. So actually we should still see the icons, so we need to move this one let's just use a span. So instead of the icons being removed or hide, it will be the text. So let's just update the menu text. So as you can see, the text are removed or hide, and then we can now center the UL. So we can just use this one, get elements by class name, and then since it returns an array of lists, and for this one we are confident that we only have one element, we can just target 0 and style set the align to center. So now it is center. So now we need to add a function that will revert or return the normal design of the page. So here we can add first the default state of our button, maybe cells. So the toggle button is true because by default it is I think we can do sidebar is open. So now it is so once we first refresh the page, the value of our sidebar is open will be true, and then here once we click that one, we set the sidebar is open to false. However, this here, this styling will be used once the sidebar is open. So here we can just use sidebar is open. Else so the styling, let's just change the styling to its default. So dashboard sidebar will have about 20%. Here is 80%. Font size is, now let's just use 80 px. Then the width will be the user image is 80 px. Then here we can just use inline black, and then here text align normal and refresh. Let's do labs. It's not updating, so now we need to set the sidebar to false for this one, and here set to open, which is true. So close, open. So I think the centering text align left, so let's just join to left. So once we collapse and show, hide, show, I think we can add the transition for the dashboard contain sidebar. Transition let's see, so that's an effect. Let's make it faster. So I think that looks great. So I think our dashboard page is now finished. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel. I'll put the link of our channel below, and You can also watch our playlist, so PHP QA, and then HTML for beginners. So I just started this channel, but every week we'll be uploading videos. So that's it, guys. Thank you